I call this philosophy lucid living, and you're about to figure this out and understand why I call it that. But first, let's just go over the topics we'll be covering in this video. Starting here on the left with karma, right? This is a big thing. A lot of people already believe in it, but I'm going to explain to you why all these things are connected and how they're all, I know, I've been saying that a million times, but it's very, very important to understand all of these things are connected. And when you understand the one theory of everything, now you know how they work. And if I missed anything, let me know in the comments, because if there's some metaphysical aspect on here that's not mentioned, let me know and I can help explain that in the comments as well, because they're probably easily explainable when you understand the theory of everything here, which I call lucid living, okay? So we're gonna go over lucid dreams, sorry. We're gonna go over manifestation, we're gonna go over the placebo effect, nightmares, dreams, deja vu, stress, and belief. Now, just before we get started, belief is what makes all these work, which is why they're in the group of belief, okay? If that makes any sense, but that'll make more sense later. Just hold on. This group will be known as clues, okay? There are clues that are constantly shown to you throughout your life and throughout your day, and some of them are known as coincidence, and coincidence is not real. We're going to cover all this in depth, but first let me just go through the list. Synchronicity, why certain things happen at certain times, like you know exactly what that is. Like the certain lyrics of a song will happen exactly as something's happening in your life, whatever. Serendipity, my favorite word actually, and it's when you lost something. This is one example. Say you lost something and you're looking for it, and you can't find it, so you give up, and you go on, you move on with your life, and then like a week later, a couple days later, whatever, you start to look for something else that you lost, and while looking for that new item that you lost, you found the old item. That's serendipity, and I'll explain why that works and how it's all tied together, as well as the sacred proportions found in nature. The 1.618, the golden mean, the spiral. It all makes sense soon. Quantum entanglement, how everything's tied together. Fractals, how and why it works. As above, so below, very important. Maybe one of the most important ones here. The beauty of Earth, why it's so beautiful, and why so many people say that God is a painter or an artist or whatever. And just on that topic, guys, I am not religious. I don't have a religion. I always believe that there is something, we just don't know what it is, and that's okay. You don't have to have all the answers straight away. It's okay to not know. And so, but now I do have a religion, and this is basically my religion now. We're going to go over all of it, as well as atoms. As you should know, atoms are immortal, which is also referred to as quantum immortality, and why that makes sense with all this. So these are the clues, and then this is the source column, okay? And in the source column, we're going to cover who is God, what is he, she, it, what happens after death, what is this life, what is this realm, reincarnation, why that works, infinity, why, like, if you really, really zoom into any object, it becomes infinite. You know that, right? And we're in an infinite universe. We'll cover that in depth in just a minute. Individuality, how everything is different, why that matters and why it happens. Energy and electricity and how magical that is and why it works. Time and space and why they're necessary. The power of love, big one. And the power of loneliness, which is also very, very important to all this. As well as the simulation theory. And no, this is not a simulation, but it's close. And we're going to cover that and how that's almost correct, but not exactly correct, because the modern understanding of simulation theory it's missing a few details. And we're going to wrap it all together, as well as what is fire. I know that's basic, what is fire, but you'll see, it's magical, just like everything else. And as well as 0-point energy. So I know this is something we haven't really cracked as a society, but yes, it exists, it is there, and I'll tell you why. And I call this source. So these are the source column, the clues, and belief. So these are all come together very, very soon. But first, I need to explain that this entire concept I am calling lucid living, okay? I call it lucid living for a very good reason. Now, in order to understand what lucid living is and the rest of everything that we just talked about, and then to shatter your reality forever and potentially give you power to manifest your dreams and abundance and everything that you've ever wanted, and reduce your stress and make life better for everyone, you need to understand that life is a dream, okay? And let me explain how that works. Now, this is you. This is the self. And this is you in the world, okay? Now, when you dream of a bunch of people, a bunch of places, you're doing stuff, it's all very vivid, it's colorful, and you feel like it's real, right? We've all had those dreams. You know, they don't happen all the time, but it's very, very often that you can have very, very lucid dreams. Not exactly, let's not use that terminology because that's incorrect. You have very, very vivid, realistic dreams, okay? But the most important question of all, and this is where it all came from, because I had a horrible, horrible nightmare, and when I woke up, it all came out as a giant download. I wrote this all down on a million pages, and then I concised those pages and organized all that download into that list that you have here, as well as the terminology and the understanding. So this is yourself, and this is you in the world, okay? But when you close your eyes and you go to sleep, you start dreaming, okay? This is you in the dream world. This is you with your mind dreaming. But here's the kicker. I know, get to the point already. I got you. We're here. We're at the point. Who are these people in your dream? Who are they? They're very, very real. They react to everything that you do and say, but they're not real. They're you, right? This is critical because you're experiencing a reality with many, many people doing many, many things, but who are they? They are you. They were generated by your mind. They are not real, right? Okay, and this is your higher self, as above, so below. Your higher self, potentially God, right? This is God, this is the universe, this is the cosmic mind. And when it dreams, you getting it now? Okay, so when this cosmic mind decides to dream, it invents the self and all of us, as above, so below. But why does the cosmic mind dream? Why does it create this reality? Why does it create this dream world? Well, it's very, very interesting that you ask that question, because I have the answer for you. Okay? Now, look, before we get back into describing every one of these aspects and how they work, you have to understand, what is God? Okay? The cosmic mind, it is everything, it is everyone, it is, right? Much like your dream. This entire thing generates all of us, and we are able to get the clues through our dreaming, but we're going to go into that. But what is God specifically? It is immortal, it is all things, and it is alone, right? And it has infinite power. So it's immortal, it has infinite power, and it is all things, and nothing is separate from it, right? Now, if you think about that long enough, you'll realize that that's pretty lonely. So you have infinite power, you're eternal, and you're alone. Well, what happened in Castaway when Tom Hanks was stranded on an island for a couple months or a year or whatever? He ended up making friends with a volleyball because he was so lonely, right? Now imagine you're God with infinite power and eternal, and you're just floating around nothingness forever with infinite knowledge and being all things. You would eventually become pretty lonely after, 100 years, 1,000 years, 1,000,000 years, 1,000,000,000 years. You'd become very lonely. And in order to not feel alone anymore, you might just start dreaming and create a whole world to keep you entertained. Are you getting it? Now, the point is, it doesn't want to feel alone, because that's very lonely. For eternity. Would you like to be alone for eternity? No, you wouldn't. You couldn't manage 3 days, maybe a week. Some of you could. You wouldn't last a year. You wouldn't last 10 years. The cosmic mind, God, the higher self, has been alone for millions, if not billions, if not trillions of years. It decided to create a world where it does not feel alone. And in order to not feel alone, this world has to be so vivid, so real, that it constantly forgets that it's floating in space, alone, eternal, and all-powerful forever. So this has to be pretty damn real. You following me? Now, we're going to go into all these concepts one by one. I just explained to you who is God. And I know some of these might not be in perfect order, and that's fine. Hopefully you can stick with me. Now, once we understand who is God, or what is God, which we just explained, right? I mean, a lot of people agree with that. No matter what religion you're in, you basically agree with that. God is like this eternal being that is everything and everyone, and infinitely powerful, and all that, right? But he's alone, right? So what is life? We just explained that. Life is him, it creating a realm so it can be entertained and not feel alone forever. It's all powerful, it's infinite, and it can create all these things. But what it did was it left some clues along the way for some of us to remember what we are. Because some of us get really, really caught up in the dream and think it's real. Okay? And in order for some of us to find relief or find the answers, there's some clues, and we're going to go over that. So, what is death? Starting with that one. What is death? Death would be returning to source. And I believe, and I've always believed, that as soon as you die, you become God again. You're back to the cosmic mind, and you realize, oh shit, I'm infinitely powerful, eternal, and floating in space alone. Oh damn, I'm alone again. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go back. Reincarnation. Because I don't want to feel alone anymore. Okay? What is infinity, and how does this play in? Well, God is infinite, right? So that's why all things in this world are infinite. Like, how long is a piece of string? The answer is actually infinity. Because if you came down to the microscopic level, you're going to have these ins and outs that would be more and more difficult to measure. And if you went down to the atomic level, it'd be even more and more difficult to measure. Every single thing is infinite. Every object, every person, every leaf, every piece of string, it's all infinite. That is a clue. That is part of the system. And this ties back into individuality. Individuality is super important because how is everything different? Like, how does that make sense that every single thing is different? Every snowflake is different. Every blade of grass is different. They must have some kind of cosmic awareness of what came before so it doesn't print a repeat, right? Because if it printed repeats, then it defeats the whole purpose of being able to experience infinity. You can't experience infinity if you're creating duplicates, right? Infinity is a very long path, and it involves every single eventuality. And individuality, that makes sense, right? We all have different fingerprints, DNA, etc., etc. Moving on, what is energy and electricity? Arguably the same thing, but energy and electricity is the power that animates all things, and all things contain energy and electricity. So without energy or electricity, we can't run around, we can't do our lives, animals can't live, plants can't grow. They need the energy, the electricity, which is the power given from God to animate all things. Yeah? Is that, we still following? Even, I know it doesn't seem like humans have electricity. Yes, they do. Like, the reason why we eat food and everything else is so that we have energy and electricity flowing through us so that we can walk around, breathe, think, everything else. And that comes from God creating this realm. Time and space. Time and space is very, very important because remember, back here, when you are just this one thing, this cosmic entity, you are everything all at once, maybe just a single ball of light. Well, in order to create this world, you're going to need time and space. Time and space allows all things to move. If there was no time or space, which are arguably the same thing, then objects could not move to different places in this realm. So we need time and space. And they are, again, arguably the same exact thing. So that's important to allow all these other things. So again, created by the source, because it's the only way, otherwise objects would just be frozen in time forever. And then you can't experience infinity, you can't do anything at all. You're just stuck, right? So that's important. Love, we briefly covered that. because what is the most important thing out of all this is feeling love, right? And spreading love, because God is alone, right? He wants to feel love. Like, he doesn't want to feel loneliness. Loneliness is what he feels. It feels. And so one of the greatest feelings of all is love, and making others feel love. It's better than being alone, right? So loneliness is very, very powerful, and it basically all this came from loneliness, because he was alone. He doesn't want to be alone. So he created this entire realm so that he's not alone. And this realm has to be very, very vivid and very, very real in order for him to feel love, because if he knew it was all fake, and if he knew it wasn't real, it would eventually wear off and you'd be back to being alone. All this is for not feeling alone. All of it. All of it. How would you feel? Again, we talked about this. How would you feel being alone for a long period of time? You would not like it. You'd start to create a world, and one of the things that you would want in this world would be to find love, and that's making you happy, making you not feel alone. So these other beings and entities are allowing him to feel love for himself or others, whatever, right? Does that make sense? I hope this is all making sense. We're going to go over all this. The simulation theory, again. So a lot of people think that, like, once you dive deep into the waves of reality, that we are in some kind of simulation and it's not exactly real. That's true. But it's not like run by aliens or some computer program. It's run by the cosmic mind, because he is eternal, all-powerful, and alone. So he's going to create a world, which is this realm, and that is simulation theory, but with a little twist, because it's not exactly a simulation. It's him creating this world. You can call it a simulation. It's still kind of accurate. It's a dream. And then we're going to go over fire, which is the release of energy. What is fire? It's pure energy. It's the release of pure energy. Like, all things are full of energy, and when you release that energy, you get fire. So remember, all things have energy. They can release that energy, becomes fire, and that ties into 0-point energy, because energy is infinite and all around, because who is God? Infinitely powerful, eternal, etc. He has this infinite energy that is potentially accessible in the actual space-time fabric of our reality. So it is possible to tap into that. Maybe we will one day, maybe we won't. I'm sure we will at some point, especially with a greater understanding of all this. Now, all these things, again, they make sense so far, and the clues are here in the clues section, because coincidence, starting with coincidence, there's no such thing as coincidence, and coincidence is a clue to remind those with eyes and ears that it's not real, that it can't possibly be real. There's something more going on. And let me explain a quick story so you understand. I went to Thailand recently, and I have one friend in Thailand, and I went to go rent a house, and out of all the houses that I ended up renting this one house. And when I got there, magically the sink or bathroom was broken or whatever, and the woman said, "Hey, I gotta go and move you to this other house for a couple days." And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I moved into that house, and then a couple days later I realized that my one and only friend in Thailand was living in the exact same building as me, the exact same building. And I was like, wow, that's so weird. That's wild. There's millions and millions of houses out here. And how could I choose the exact same one? Or have that error that sent me to the right one? And I was like, that's weird. But when I moved to the Philippines, the exact same thing happened. So it's back to back, okay? And we're gonna multiply these odds in a minute. I'm gonna show you why coincidence isn't possible. Same thing here, millions of houses here. The one and only house that I chose and went and looked at and decided I was gonna get, she brought me to a house, and I was like, oh, this house is okay, I like it, but she's like, oh, I mentioned, well, I have another house. You wanna come check out my other house? I was like, yeah, let's check it out. I see the other house, same sort of thing. Turns out, my one and only friend here in the Philippines lives in the exact same complex. So you multiply those odds, 1 in a million in Thailand, a 1 in a million chance of ending up in the same building as my one and only friend in Thailand. Multiply that by the very next move, my one and only friend in the Philippines, and all the millions of houses I could have chose magically end up at the exact same complex. So you multiply 1,000,000 to 1, let's just call it, for the sake of this, because I knew what town he was in, so we'll call it 1,000 to 1. So you times 1,000,000 by 1 by 1,000 to 1, you end up with like a 1 quadrillion to 1 chance that I would end up back to back in the same building as my only friend and the same building as my only other friend in the next country. Coincidence does not exist, okay? And that is there to prove it to you. So when you have a really crazy coincidence, calculate the odds and realize if the odds are just 1,000,000 to 1, 1,000,000,000 to 1, it's a clue that you are in a dream, okay? And it works the exact same way with synchronicity, how the exact right words or song lyrics or whatever come to you at the exact right time, or you meet the right person at the right time, you find the right thing at the right time, whatever it is. That's because it's a clue. It's trying to passively remind you where you are and what you're in. Okay, it is giving you the opportunity. And also, I feel like the God didn't want to completely forget. It wanted clues. He wanted to be able to remember sometimes. Because if you get completely consumed by the simulation, by the dream, then the dream wins, and you're gonna have a very stressful time. And we're gonna go over that too. You don't want the dream to win. Don't let the dream win. Everything in life is designed so that the dream will make you not feel alone. You don't want to feel alone, because if you figured it all out, you're suddenly back here where you're alone, eternally, with all power. And that's boring. And no one wants to be alone forever, especially with infinite power. Like, what? So everything's designed to not make you feel alone. So this simulation is reacting to that always, which is why I'm also going to tell you guys now, if you share this with other people, they're going to reject it. They're going to scream and yell at you. They're going to call you crazy. They're going to react accordingly, because that is what the simulation is designed to do. Because when you're arguing with someone, you're not alone, right? If you're getting it now, you're not alone anymore. When bad things happen, you believe it's all real, and you're not alone anymore. You're in the simulation, and isn't that better than being alone forever? Yeah, you might be experiencing some stress. Yeah, you might have had a bad day or whatever, but at least you're not alone for eternity. And so he made the sacrifice of deciding that some of these things that happen, these bad things, are still better than being alone. But I kind of disagree, because at some point this becomes a little bit selfish, because I think there's another way. I think people should be taught about this so that they don't feel so stressed and powerless and everything else. So I'm doing my best here to share this with as many people as possible. And I know a lot of people are going to fight me and disagree with me, and that's fine. It's not meant for you. It's fine. You're on a different path. And all these things I've studied individually, one by one, and when they all finally come together, again, there is no coincidence. How can all of these be explained by one theory? That life is a dream, God is eternal, infinite power, floating through space, alone. And then all these things become evident. So again, the sacred proportions. In the clues, continuing on with the clues, we cover serendipity. We didn't cover serendipity. We'll cover that again. Again, I spoke about it at the beginning. Serendipity is just another fantastic word I love. And it basically means that you lost something before. You can change this metaphorically, of course. You lost something before, you couldn't find it, you moved on with your life, and then later on, while you lost something else, a whole new object, you end up finding the thing that you were looking for in the first place. Serendipity. So like when that happens, I love it so much. And it happened to me a couple days ago too, and I was like, wow, serendipity, that's fantastic. Now anyway, moving on. Sacred proportions, why are they found in nature? Why are they so appealing to the eye? Why is it so magical? It's because it's another clue. The 1.618, the golden ratio found in most things, all things, the spirals that things travel in. They're there because it's a clue. And when you constantly see this as a clue, it's a reminder. Instead of it being a clue, it's a reminder. Because again, when the dream is winning, it's very, very stressful, like a nightmare, right? When you are in a nightmare, you believe it's real. Okay, we'll get into that too. We're gonna wrap this all up, getting into here. Quantum entanglement, again, another clue. When we dig down to the lowest, smallest levels of reality, we find that all things are connected through quantum entanglement. Why is that? Because we are one. We are one thing. We are this God. We are this quantum mind in a simulation. It is the God basically dreaming us into reality so that we do not feel alone. Okay? So yes, of course we are all entangled because we are one thing. Fractals, why are fractals important? How does that even work? Obviously, this is part of the cosmic mind, and another clue, because like, how does it know what grew before in order to grow the next sacred proportion up, right? Because it knows what was before, it knows what will be after, it is all connected. So like all things, you know, the flowers, the broccoli, whatever it is that has the fractals, all these things, they know. They're very, very aware of their self, and they're very, very aware of what we're talking about, and they're very, very connected to the cosmic mind. And that is how fractals exist. They are very, very, see, you know, you look at a flower that has fractals, you think, how does it do that? Because it is conscious. All things are conscious, very, very conscious, and maybe they don't speak or have a brain that you can find, but they are very, very conscious, and they know what's going on. And you're never going to speak to them, but they know what's going on, and that's the proof, and that is a clue. As above, so below. This is very, very important because of what we first talked about. As above, so below. While we live in our world and dream, we create this world, and as this cosmic mind exists and dream, it creates this world. As above, so below. All things will be found like this over and over and over. The more you study, the more you learn, the more you seek, you'll find that concept is very, very important, because these same things that are he or it, cosmic mind, is experiencing, you will also experience, because as above, so below. The beauty of Earth, again, like they said, like many say, this Earth is just far too beautiful, far too complex, far too coincidental. You know, the proportions of the Earth and the Moon and the time and the distance, you know, it's all so perfect and relative. The eclipses, like, how does it all work? How is it all so damn perfect? Well, it's a reminder. It's a clue. It's always been there as a clue for those with eyes and ears. The beauty, the proportions, all these things are clues, guys, and they've always been there in your face. You just need the theory of everything to wrap it all together, and that is lucid living and the cosmic mind, and proving that our life is just a dream. And I'm going to show you how to use this power in just a second over here on belief, okay? But the last one here is atoms and quantum immortality. Why are atoms immortal? Who else is immortal? So if these smallest pieces of reality are immortal, isn't that not a clue? As above, so below. Who is God? He's immortal, right? All powerful. Atoms, immortal, all powerful. Ever heard the atomic bomb? So those are all the clues. Now we're going to go over the final part of this, which is belief. And all of these things on the list here, and remember guys, if I missed anything at all, please tell me. And I would love to add it to my understanding and add it to all of our understandings. And if you have any questions on any of these, let me know in the comments right now. If any of these you have a problem with, or you can explain better than me, let us know in the comments. I'll do my best to go through all of them and help you guys out. Or hopefully you guys, some of you guys can help us all out, right? It's not just me. Like, we can take this to the next level collectively. So belief, why does belief, why is it so important? And how does it relate to everything? Well, stress. Let's start with stress, okay? No. Let's start at the top. Let's start with karma, okay? Karma works through belief, okay? And this makes sense. When you do something good, you believe that you're supposed to, you're gonna get good. You do good, that you're supposed to get good, right? And the same in reverse. If you do bad, you feel like you deserve bad. But what's the common factor? You believe. You believe that when you do good, you're gonna get good. You believe that when you do bad, you're gonna get bad. And that works specifically because you believe. If you didn't believe it, it doesn't work. Like, that's why some horrible people never get their karma. They don't believe it. They don't believe that they are due bad luck or do bad things, because they don't believe either in karma or believe that their actions need a bad response. They're delusional one way or another. So they can commit atrocities and have no repercussions because they just don't believe that doing bad or what they're doing is bad, and therefore they should get bad in return. But for those of us that do believe, it is very, very powerful, and you should use it very, very carefully. Do good, and good will come to you. Don't do bad, because bad will come to you. That's how you need to live. That's just, it's the way. It's gonna, and it's powered by belief. What else is powered by belief? Lucid dreams. How do lucid dreams work? Does anyone know? Let us know in the comments if you know about lucid dreaming. But here, let me explain to you how I understand lucid dreaming to work, okay? Now, you're in a dream, and if you can magically somehow remember that you're in a dream, or believe that you are dreaming, you become lucid. You become able to alter your dreams, control the reactions within your dreams. But what does it all have in common? You have to believe. If you don't believe that you're in a dream, you can't control it. If you believe that you're in a nightmare, the nightmare continues. If you believe you can't do something, you can't do something. If you believe you can do something, you can do something. Because that now ties into manifestation. But before we go there, lucid dreaming, if you want to go into that as a whole separate topic, in the future we will, because that is one of the most powerful ways to be able to control this reality. Because in this reality, you have to believe that this is all just a dream in order to start controlling it, which is why I call this lucid living. Because you need to believe that life is a dream in order to control it. Just like you need to believe that you're dreaming to control your dream. You getting it now? Manifestation. How and why does that work? It works because, again, all of this works because of this fundamental concept. What is God? Okay? And so we, as above, so below, have some of his powers, its powers, right? We don't know if it's boy or girl, doesn't matter. It's probably both. It is both. Whatever, doesn't matter. We don't know, because when you're in a dream, you don't know what the higher self is. So we don't exactly understand what the higher self is, and that's fine. We never will. Just like when you're in a dream, you don't know what reality is. Okay? But manifestation works through belief just the same. So if you want to manifest abundance, you have to believe that you can manifest abundance. If you want to manifest whatever you want, you have to believe it. That's why the most successful people in the world are delusional. They believe more than anything that they can do it. And I've met a lot of you guys too that are on the back end, negative side of manifestation, where you just believe that your life is trash. You believe that the life is horrible. You believe the future is terrible. You believe that all these bad things are going to keep happening. You believe that you can't find a job. You believe that you can't find abundance. You believe that. And guess what? It makes it real. It makes it true because you believe it. So once you start understanding all this, you can use this, which is one of the most powerful things about all the things we talked about. You can start manifesting your dreams. You can start manifesting abundance and manifest whatever you like. It just makes sure it's tied in with karma, right? You don't want to manifest something bad, because then you're going to get the karma. Manifest good stuff for everyone. That makes sense. Love is the answer. Love has always been the answer. No one wants to feel alone. Okay? So, moving into the placebo effect, which is very, very powerful too, to understand everything. The placebo effect, in case you don't know what that is a way that they test medicine. So they'll get two groups of people. One of those groups gets the medicine, and one of those groups gets like a sugar pill or a chalk pill. And then they measure their results. Let's say they all came in for a headache. Here's a medicine that helps cure your headache. And an authority figure, usually a doctor, a shaman, whatever it is, these are the people that use placebo effect. Shamans specifically throughout history. Because when you believe in a shaman, believe the effects work, whether it's a song or a dance where he's blowing smoke in your face or ash up your nose or whatever it is. If you believe it, the placebo effect works. So finishing the definition here and understanding of placebo effect, when they give those two groups of people, one of them gets the medicine, one of them gets the fake pill, they see which one of those groups collectively had a better response. Did the medicine work better than the placebo? Or did the placebo, which was nothing, it was sugar or chalk, did they experience a better result? And how does that work? Because they believed. They weren't told it was a sugar pill. They weren't told it was a chalk pill. They were told it was medicine to cure their headache from an authority figure, like a doctor, like a shaman. And they believe. And so if that medicine can't pass the placebo effect, it won't be pushed out to the public. Well, that's what we hope. But I'm sure that happens all the time. And again, this is also how spontaneous remission happens with like cancer patients, with people that are sick. When their attitude is, I don't believe this is going to kill me. I don't believe this is going to beat me. I believe I'm going to heal. Guess what happens? The placebo effect works and they heal. And they get rid of their cancer or their sickness, whatever it is. The placebo effect is wildly powerful, and again, ties into everything and belief here as well as everything else. Nightmares, we're going to cover that, because nightmares is you forgetting that it's a dream. Because when you're having a nightmare, you're believing all of it. You believe all of it. And when you believe all of it and let it control you, well, it's a nightmare, right? Just the same as this entire simulation. All these things that happen throughout your day and through your life are constantly trying to get you to believe that it's all real. Because when you believe, you forget and you let the dream win. And when the dream wins, you don't feel alone anymore. Even if it's like, say I'm driving down the road, and I get this all the time. I'm driving down the road, there's absolutely no one behind me, but someone's gonna cut me off in front of me and I gotta slam on my brakes. I get so angry. What? There was no one behind me. You couldn't have waited 0.1 second? That is the nightmare winning. That is the simulation winning. That is me not feeling alone anymore. That's me forgetting all this and being thrown back in to the dream, to the nightmare, and letting it win. But you know what? It's better than being alone forever, floating through eternity, all powerful, with all knowledge, and just being alone forever. Yeah, I might get a bit stressed out and angry, but at least I don't feel alone anymore, right? Don't let the nightmares win. Same in your dream, same in this life. All those things that happen in this world, you don't have to accept it. You don't have to respond to it. You can say, that's not for me, and you walk away, okay? So dreams, we basically just covered that, you know. What are dreams? As above, so below. You are creating these worlds. You are creating these people. You are creating these situations. It's all in your mind. All of it. Literally all of it. Everything. All comes from here. How is that possible? As above, so below. Who is God? Right? He, it, the cosmic mind, is dreaming our reality, our life. And so, of course, you can do that too. Because as above, so below. Your dreams are you using basic God's power to create your own worlds and people. And none of them are real. None of it's real. Looks very, very real. Feels very, very real. It's not real. And as soon as you realize it's a dream, if you can, and there are techniques to do that, we'll cover that in another video, you go back into lucid dreaming. Because now you can control it. Isn't that beautiful? And that's why I call it, this concept, lucid living. Because you need to remember that this is a dream, guys. That's going to help you so much. I don't want you guys to experience any more stress. We're going to cover deja vu in a second. Because stress, all stresses, is the simulation, is the dream trying to take control again so that you forget all this. Because when you remember all this, you're alone. You're back to being here. You're back to being God, alone, eternal, forever, alone. You don't want to be alone. So stress controls the simulation because it reminds you that it makes you believe that you're not in control of it. It makes you believe that this is all real, that life is not a dream. And in fact, it is, which is how also deja vu works. You feel like, deja vu is like you feel like you've been in this situation before, you've experienced this before, you've heard this before, you've seen this before, and indeed you have. Because you are God. You are the cosmic mind. You have experienced all things. You are all powerful. You are eternal, and you are everything all at once. But you're alone. So that, again, is another clue, and that works through belief as well. You believe, that's how it works. You believe that you've been here before, seen this before, whatever. You believe that, and that is deja vu. Okay? And so when you wrap up all these concepts together, you get lucid living. And I encourage you guys to like this video, share this video with absolutely everyone that can benefit from this, and start changing their dream for the better of everyone, for the better of this reality, for the better of humanity. A lot of us are in so much stress right now, and anxiety and pressure. That's the dream, winning. It's just a dream. You can control it. Start controlling it. Start remembering your higher self is dreaming this reality, just the way that you yourself dream your dreams and create a whole world of people that's all just in your mind. That's your dream. You can conclude that for a fact. That is the clue. That is the proof. You are creating all of this. So your higher self, as above, so below, is also dreaming and creating all of this. And that is lucid living. And that, I believe, is the theory of everything. And I know a lot of people throughout time have figured this out and have been very, very close to understanding it all, but they were just off on a few things, and some of it got taken advantage of for religion and other things, and they just want your money and whatever. It's so much more simple than all that, and I feel like this is probably the truest form of understanding all things without the theory of hell or the devil or threats of this or threats of that. It's just a dream. And this life is just a dream. And if you want to control it, you need to learn this, and you become lucid living. Just like when you're dreaming and you remember you're dreaming, you can be lucid dreaming. If you remember that this is all just a dream, you can now be lucid living. You can then start understanding all of this. You can start understanding karma, lucid dreams, manifestation, the placebo, everything here. And now you know, and you're going to have these clues. They're going to pop up all the time with this understanding, and you're going to say, oh, there it is. And you're not going to get upset anymore. Okay, that's what I want from you and everyone. I don't want anyone to be upset anymore. I don't want you to be stressed anymore. All the stuff going on, it's not real. It's just a dream. It needs to be this way for you to forget that you are alone forever, eternally stuck, floating through nothing for forever. You don't want to remember that. Remember the Tom Hanks thing. He made best friends with a volleyball because he was alone for a couple months. What do you think someone's going to do if they're eternally powerful, floating through nothingness? They're going to want to entertain themselves. They're going to want love. They don't want loneliness. They need to make a simulation. They need to use their infinite power to create time and space so we can all exist in there, just like we do with our dreams. They need energy and electricity to make all of this, which is why it exists everywhere. If this cosmic mind is infinite, it needs to also express infinity in here and have the ability for everything to be infinite because it is infinite. And reincarnation, because once you realize, and once you die and come back, once you die, you're suddenly God and you understand everything, and then you're like, damn, I'm lonely. Let's go back. Okay? It's all here. If you have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to explain anything. If you want to argue with me, don't waste your time because you're not going to win. And if I miss anything, please let me know. I believe that's absolutely everything. I covered this actually a lot faster than I thought I would. I hope I didn't bore you. I hope you check out some of my other videos. Hope you stay tuned for future videos because we can go over some of this more in depth, and I'm going to structure a course and a lesson. Hopefully, if this video does well, I believe that it will. So therefore, maybe it will. But there are some parts of me that believe that it's going to do terrible. And maybe that overlying belief will make this video do terrible. There's only one way to find out. And whether it does or not, I've impacted some of your lives. There could be a potential 100 people here, the ones that really, really, really needed it the most, the ones that were having the worst time and the worst stress and the worst anxiety. This video found you at the right time through synchronicity. It was no coincidence. It's also serendipity because you've been looking for this, you gave up, and now it's here, presenting itself in front of you. Also, there's also been the largest solar flare in 20 years, coincidentally at the same time. And a lot of my predictions over the last couple of days have been coming true, like the train derailment, the volcano eruption, the loud noise coming from the sky. These are all predictions I've recently made. Why am I able to do that? Because I understand this profoundly, and because I understand who I am, what this is, and as soon as you do too, you can do what I do. Although there are some techniques, many of which I've not shared how I specifically do this, and that is again something you can do by emailing me. I can teach you the ins and outs of that, as well as potentially make a future video. But this is my greatest video of all time, and I don't know how I could ever make a better video unless I had some kind of professional editor, and while I'm speaking they're showing the visuals of this, and we turn it into a documentary, and we go through everything step by step by step by step by leading into the final understanding and belief that life is a dream, and that once you figure it all out, you too can be lucid living. Make sure to click all those buttons. I love you guys. Love is the answer. Let's take this to as many hearts and minds as we can. Make sure to check out the description, and I'll see you in the next video.